Well, I'm trying to do a little video here, but my cat is making a little noise, as you might hear. They're taking him out of here. Quarantine is hard. So anyway, if I'm looking at my guitar with 3 different ways to play a chord, we're going to talk about our root, our third, and our fifth being equal in the chord, instead of calling it root and first inversion, second inversion. Too many numbers. So we're not going to do that. We're going to give them numbers for our chord progressions. We'll save the numbers for 1, 4, 5, meaning in the key of F, B flat, C. But we're not going to talk like that about our inversions. We're going to talk about according to our spectrum of colors. First being red, our second being orange, and then our third being yellow, our fourth being green, our fifth being blue. And we're not going to say cyan, magenta. We're not going to talk about that. We're just going to say red, yellow, and blue. So red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. And then indigo. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo. And then after that will be violet, the seventh. So primary for red, orange, not, yellow primary to the chord, green not. And we have 2 types of primariness. I know we have our refractive and our reflective light. So we're talking reflective light or pigments. So if we look at primary red, orange not, yellow primary, green not in this case, blue primary, red, yellow, and blue being our 3 primaries, and then indigo not. So it's primary not, primary not, primary not, and then it should be primary, but it's the 7th. And the 7th rests from its usage. It's a sabbatical note in our scale. It's also the same in the spectrum of colors. It rests from its primariness. So the 1st, 3rd, and the 5th are primary. The 7th is not. And then the octave, or the 8th, is primary again. It's the same as the 1st. So if I say red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, red comes next. Or Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday will come next. Or do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do comes next. So this is the way we're going to talk about our scales and our chord inversions, we'll call them. So this is the 1st, 3rd, and 5th. And then we're going to go, instead of starting on the 1st, red, we're going to start on the 3rd, yellow, which will be here. So we'll say yellow, and then blue, red, and yellow. And what was the most predominant one here? Yellow. So this I'm going to call my red, this my yellow, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th is blue. So that'll be blue, red, yellow, and blue. And what was most predominant there? Blue. So instead of calling that my second inversion and having another number to deal with, I'm just going to call that blue. And anywhere I move that, that'll be blue. And this is just for us. If you go to, you're on a gig and you say, hey, play the blue inversion, they're not going to know what you're talking about. So this is just for us so we can talk easily. So this is red, and we extend it to there. That's yellow. And this is blue. So red, yellow, and blue. And I can move those anywhere I want to. So that's F, F, F. I can move it up. That's F sharp. That's G. And I've got 3 ways to play the G. So instead of saying root, I'll call that red. Instead of saying first inversion, I'll call that yellow. And this will be blue. And anywhere I move that, as I said before, it's blue. So I can play a 1, 4, 5 progression. Say I want to move that G to C. So C is 1, red, and 4 is F. That'll be my blue here. And then my 5 will be yellow, G. So 1, 4, 5. We make the 7th chord for the 5 chord, but for right now we're just going to keep it as a major. So that's my 1, 4, and 5. So anywhere I want to play that 1, 4, 5. That's red. If I want to play it in yellow, that's my 1. My 4 is now red. My 5 is blue. If I want to play it down here in blue, my 1 is blue, my 4 is yellow now, and my 5 is red. That's C, F, and G. C, F, and G, C, F, and G. So anywhere I am, I should be able to play a melody through those 3 inversions. And if I want to play O Susanna, there's my 5 chord, yellow, back to red, yellow, red, blue, red, yellow, back to red, yellow, red. That's 1, 4, and 5. Now, if I'm playing the next inversion, it starts on the 3, 5, 1, and 3. I can't really play in that yellow a lower melody unless I go to the 5th string. So I'll play the same melody. Then 5 is blue. Back to yellow. Blue, yellow. Now red is 4. Yellow, 5. Then back to blue, yellow. And that 5 is blue, and then back to yellow. Now I could also do that in the next octave. My last one is there in the blue. Blue. 4 is yellow, and my 5, red. So that's my red, back to blue, red, blue, yellow, blue, red, back to blue. So on the bottom end of this, I have my bass, or I can play a little bass or here, wherever I want to on the bottom end of these chords, or here. But they're still the same 3 chords, and there are no more, because there are only 3 different ways to play a chord. There's starting on the 1st, then the 3rd, then the 5th, or the 3rd, the 5th, and the 1st, or the 5th, the 1st, and then the 3rd. And that's it. So if I have those down, and I can do them in minor as well. So that's my 1, G minor. My blue turns into a minor. That's my 4. And then my 5 doesn't become a minor. And it does all sorts of things with flat 9. We don't care about that right now. So I have 3 minors in red and yellow and blue. That's the 1. Now my 4. And now my 5. And I can play the same melodies. So anywhere I want to put that stuff. So that is first and foremost, is getting able to move through those chords and not have to guess which chord I'm playing, the names of them. I don't focus on that. I think about ratios of chords and positions of progressions. And my melodies come by ear through there. I don't have to memorize melodies. Any melody I hear in my head, I can play anywhere on the fingerboard immediately, because it's not that hard to do. And for you that think it is hard to do, I understand, because you're doing it the wrong way. You're starting to try to play everything by notation. You're resting on that first and foremost. Django Reinhardt couldn't read at all. And Les Paul and he were together in a cab, and he asked Les if he read music, and Les said no. And he said, me either. I don't know a B from a C. And that's really not what I'm suggesting, because I get a lot of work because I read music, but I would not be able to do any of this if I didn't develop my ear first. The ear is first and foremost. So we got these 3 ways to play a chord, and you can think about names of chords all the way up and down. That's all well and fine. If you can't just grab a note from anywhere and immediately be able to hear, if I'm playing Oh Susanna from there, I can't do it from here, this chord, the red. I couldn't do it from the blue either. I would have to start on the yellow. So anywhere I start, I'm in blue. I'm here. So the key to all of this is grabbing a note and being able to hear immediately whether you use this chord, or this chord. So think of a song. I will look around the room and see if I see anything that reminds me. Red, the color red on my MacBook in the DAW there in the Logic Pro. So Red River Valley. So if I hear in my head, come and sit, I have to ask if it's this, the red, the yellow, or the blue. And I can hear come and sit, it's blue. And then my 5 chord. So I could also play. But anywhere I start it. And people say, well, you're using more than those chords. I am using more than those chords, but those chords are all based on these 3. So if I play a major 7th there, it's still based on that. If I play a major 7th here, it's still based on that. Here, a major 7th there. So any chord I'm hearing here, major 7th, 6th, 9th, 4 minor, major 7th on the tonic. The 6 is a 9th chord with that pedal tone there. Now my 2, that's is a 9th as well. Now my 5. So that's all these different chords, but I'm still really only thinking about these 3 different places to play them. I call them red, yellow, and blue. You don't have to call them that, but for following certain exercises I do, it'll be a lot easier to think of them that way. So this is where we're starting off with these chords and the fingerboard theory. I'm going to do a few exercises for you. This is number 1 in this series, and I'm going to do some other exercises coming up.